Your call escalations are out of hand. Your agents are frustrated. Customers often feel that the only way to get the help they seek is to demand to speak to a manager or a supervisor. Your supervisors are frustrated because they feel that all they do is handle escalations. Sound familiar? I know it does. Well, you're in luck. I have help for you. I'm going to share with you 4 specific ways your employees can preempt an escalation. First, why exactly do customers escalate to a supervisor? I have found that there are 4 primary reasons callers want to speak to a supervisor or a manager. They think they'll get help faster or that they'll get better help if they speak to a person in authority. The customer does not feel the agent is knowledgeable or capable of helping them. And a lot of the times that's because the agent doesn't sound assertive or for some reason hasn't established rapport or credibility that tells the customer that they are in fact knowledgeable. Customers feel the agent isn't listening or doesn't understand the problem. Agents lack confidence to assertively control the call by being direct. If the goal is to reduce escalations, and certainly that is the goal, we have to position frontline employees to communicate in such a way that they come across as confident, as assertive, and knowledgeable. My 4 tips for preempting escalations positions agents to sound confident and to be knowledgeable, and assertive. My 4 tips for preempting an escalation are not about denying a customer the right to speak to a supervisor. The tips are about you proactively preempting an escalation. That is, they are about you communicating in such a way that the customer trusts you, they accept your answer, and they are less likely to feel that they need to even ask for a supervisor. So let's start with tip number 1. Reflect the brand promise. Now, you want customers to feel that what they have purchased from you or what they have received from you, whatever that case is of value. Here's an example. I have a client that their primary product is a warranty package. And the frontline staff very often will find themselves in a situation where they have to deny a claim. That is, the customer doesn't meet the criteria for the warranty plan. And when a customer is denied, that is a point where we find in this business that customers want to escalate to a manager. They don't like hearing that they are denied, and they want to plead their case with someone else. They feel that there must be some way around this decision, and they feel they have to fight for that. So on one hand, we get why the callers escalate. The problem is, if we escalated all of the calls, they would just simply be told the same thing by managers. It's wasting the time of the customer, of the manager. It's frustrating. So the tip is to reflect the brand promise before denying the claim. So the old way of doing business for this client would be to simply tell the customer that your claim has been denied and to tell them why the claim has been denied. But I want the caller to feel like when I purchased this extra warranty plan, I purchased something of value. It is valuable. Does not apply in this case, but it is a good plan. So we need to let them know that they made a good decision and a good investment. That is, you start with the positive. So instead of going right into, Mr. Jones, your warranty does not cover this, I instructed my client to list 2 or 3 things that the plan does cover. So it would start out this way. Mr. Jones, you have a great protection plan. Your plan covers such things as, and they would list 2 or 3 things a plan would cover. In this case, however, the plan does not cover X. So what we do here is we start with the positive. We reinforce the value of that investment, tell the caller what they did purchase, what they do have, and then let them know in this case it does not apply. That is reflecting the brand promise. When you reflect the brand promise, you reinforce what the customer has invested in, you're leading with a positive, and that lets you build trust. When customers trust you, they are less likely to feel that they need to escalate and speak to a supervisor. So, reflect the brand promise. Principle number 2 is don't push. Last week, I facilitated a leadership retreat. And in the retreat, I had my participants divide up into pairs of 2. And I had one person identify as person A and the other person as person B. And I instructed them to both hold up one palm. And I asked partner A to press against the palm of partner B. In fact, I said, I want partner A to push the palm of person B. And I gave them a few seconds to do that. And then I asked the audience, how many of you who was partner B, how many of you pressed against the palm of partner A? And literally every hand in the room went up. Now, my specific instructions to this group was for partner A to press against partner B. I didn't tell partner B to push. So I asked, those of you who were partner B and you did push, why did you do that? Because I did not ask you to do that. And what I heard throughout the room was, well, I pushed against partner A because they were pushing against me. It's very natural. That is exactly the response that I expected to get. When one person pushes, whether that is physically or verbally, it is very natural for us to push back. I want you to do the opposite of this. Do not push against your customers. Now, what do I mean by push? Because none of us would obviously intentionally push. What exactly is pushing against customers? Well, we might be perceived as pushing against a customer when we say something like, there's nothing else I can do for you. So if a customer is asking for help or they're trying to go deeper and you say, I'm sorry, sir, there's nothing more that I can do, that is equivalent to you pushing. And then they may push back by simply demanding to speak to a manager. You've pushed them into a corner, so they have to push back to get whatever it is that they think they need and they cannot get from you. Another example of pushing might be, look, a supervisor will simply tell you the same thing that I'm telling you. When you make a statement like that, then you're actually forcing the customer to push because you're pushing them down further. You're denying them and they're going to push back with, you know what, let me speak to a supervisor. How else might you push a customer when you say, I don't know what else to tell you? Now be careful about statements that make the customer feel like you're pushing, you're resisting, because when you do that, they will push back. Tip number 3 is be regretful and direct. When you have to say no to a customer or deny their request in any way, I want you to express regret. And I want you to be very direct, assertive when you say no or deny that person's request. People respect confidence and assertiveness. And that's exactly what being regretful and direct together, in this case, will do for you. You come across as knowledgeable and definite, and they feel less of a need, customers feel less of a need to have to escalate to get that final answer. Now here's a great way to be regretful and direct at the same time. I know this is upsetting for you. I wish there was something we could do. We have to honor the terms of your protection plan. There's simply no way around it. Tip number 4, demonstrate that you are listening. Customers need to feel heard. They need to feel that you understand them. When they feel like you don't get it, that you don't understand the nature of their request, or you don't understand the impact of the words no, or I can't do this. When they don't think you get it, customers will almost always ask to speak to someone else. So what we need to do is demonstrate to the caller that we get it. We hear you, we understand. And so empathize and let them know that I hear you and I feel you. Stephen Covey, author of 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, talks about the principle of understanding, then being understood. And that is perfect for demonstrating that you are listening. What Covey means in this particular habit is we need to demonstrate to the other person that I understand you before working to be understood. When you make the other person feel that I hear you, I understand you, I get it, then they are in the perfect position to understand you. But if they don't feel that you hear them, get them, or understand them, they really can't hear you. And if they can't hear you, they are likely to try to go around you. Work to ensure that you reflect the brand promise. Do not inadvertently push your customers. Take care to communicate with regret and to be direct, and always demonstrate that you are listening. When you do, you will, in fact, preempt escalations. Your supervisors will appreciate it, and you're giving your customers a better customer experience.